Well, Ben, it gives me great pleasure to say welcome back to Woking Football Club. Although it doesn't seem very long that you've been away.
No, it doesn't. We're actually two weeks short, weren't we?
Yes.
With the playoffs and that, and then
exactly.
Early start again. So yeah, back.
And tell everybody where we are, because we're on location here to do this today.
Stonehenge.
Stonehenge.
Yeah. So I left. We both said we set off at 10 o'clock, hoping that we'd meet somewhere in the middle. I give it sort of 40 minutes, so we'd come a little bit further. But then everyone was shut, so I had to do that a little bit longer drive anyway.
And we better give them a plug because they've been very kind and allowed us to film this in their reception. We're at the Travel Lodge at Amesbury Services, just near Stonehenge. So big thanks to Travel Lodge for that. Das has told us in one of his own interviews that you had a clause in your contract that if we got promoted, you got another year basically. So that clause has been enacted then.
Yeah. So obviously I had a bit of a tough start, didn't I, with a change of manager at such a kind of a weird time at Billericay. I think it was after about 8 weeks. So not an ideal time for a player to kind of find themselves needing to move on. But that was the kind of situation I was in. So what I found was at sort of my age, I kind of thought it was relevant if I was to make the move to not be in that situation again. Obviously, people don't just hand out 2-year contracts at this level, and I certainly understood that. So we put in there that if we were to be promoted, so I had to kind of earn that deal, then another year would be activated. So that's exactly what we did, and I had to work hard to make sure that I had security for the next year, and that gave me something to work for. At the end of the day, I'm just like every other footballer at this level. We have to earn our futures, and it worked out brilliantly. We had a fantastic year, so happily sat here again.
Good. And do you know what your stats were for last season?
I don't know.
36 appearances, 4 goals. So is that a bit of a low return, would you say?
Absolutely, yeah. If you think about my first 4 probably come in my first 15 games. So it started off looking good. And then just hit, I think Billericay was my last goal, and then just died.
The goal that you tried hard not to celebrate?
Yes and no. I think it was just out of respect for people that were there. It was nothing to do with the management, because for my own reasons it wasn't for them. It was just because I didn't think it was right. It was so soon. I wasn't bitter towards the club or anyone else other than the circumstances that put me in that position, which only a couple of people I hold account for. So it was obviously nice to go back there and score, but it dried up after that. So next time I think I'll celebrate. Okay.
And 36 appearances, as we said, 8 yellows and 2 reds. So goals maybe not quite enough, cards maybe too many?
Yeah. It doesn't sound too great with the red cards.
You're inevitably going to get yellow cards playing where you do. It's just unavoidable.
It is.
But 8.
And it's so. Do you know what? The strikers now are so much more clever than what they used to be. I am sort of take it or leave it. If I think I'm going to win it, I'm going to win it. I don't have it in my mind that I might not win that. If I'm committed, I'm in. Right. So I have to take the rough with this move. Sometimes it works for you, sometimes it doesn't. Obviously the timings of the yellow cards dictate how the rest of the game goes. I've found a couple of times that I've got them a little bit too early, but I've always had that ethos that I like to make either a big header or a big tackle, certainly in the early starts of the game, just so I can relax a little bit. But sometimes it lands you in the book. Probably deserved, so can't really argue with it.
Fair enough. And you got in the league's team of the year. That must have been a boost for you.
Massive boost, to be fair, because I actually got told it was the Tuesday after I got sent off against Torquay. So obviously I was down in the dumps for quite a few days. Really had to take a look at myself and I watched it a couple of times and just thought it was the completely wrong thing to do. He was going nowhere, so I had to take that on the chin, take the abuse that I got, and I was ready to come back the next week and kind of put it right. But the Tuesday came, and I got notified that I'd made team of the year, and it just kind of reevaluated everything. At the end of the day, it's a split decision. It didn't go for me on that particular moment, but it's a long old season. And that certainly wasn't going to define whether I'd had a good season or a bad season, so it come with a welcome time.
and particularly welcome because that selection is made by all the other managers in the league. So that's quite an accolade, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Especially for a defender, because your job is to stop their team scoring, and it shows that you've done it well.
Yeah. Well, like I say, I've been in non-league for 10 years now, and you kind of paint pictures with certain managers. You kind of know what team they're going to come up against, and they'll probably know what they're going to come up against when they see them on the team sheet. So certain managers have to kind of, you'll see the team selection, they'll put the quicker players against me for whatnot. So I've had to sort of adapt to that, and for them to select me as unanimously is obviously a good point for how my season's gone.
Sure. And given that we finished a clear-ish second in the league, were you a bit surprised there was no one else from Woking in that team?
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, I think that was kind of a shock to quite a few people, not just myself. There was probably 2 or 3 that could have made that easily. But like I say, if it was maybe a players selection from every player in the league, then maybe a couple more might have got in it.
Yeah.
Because there have been some really good, consistent players in our team. But yeah, like I say, it's just one of those things.
And you've been since the season ended, you've been really hammering it in doing some training. Is that right? Lost some weight.
Yes, I have. Yeah, I finished the season quite heavy, obviously, but I have been known to carry weight. That's kind of part of my DNA. In my eyes, I'm a 28-year-old dad. I like to go home and treat myself to a little Chinese now and then. But no, this year's got to be taken a lot more seriously. I think in the National League South, no disrespect to the league at all, because it's a very strong competitive league. But because I've probably been in it for that long, I kind of know what I can get away with and what I can't. Whereas this league, the last time I was in it, I had to do a 6-week training program to get myself ready to go, and that's exactly what I'd done 3 years ago. And I started the season really well. So that's exactly what I'm going to emulate this year. I've got the same PT that took me through that sort of training regime.
Right.
And that's the same plan. I've got a set target in mind with the weight I want to start the league campaign at.
Yeah.
And that should put me in good stead.
Sure. And have you managed to fit in a holiday at all?
I have. Yeah. So we had a family holiday. 2 weeks actually. 2 weeks after.
Nice.
The season ended. So yeah, it was a nice little break, and then.
Was that pretty straight away after the playoff final?
Yeah, it was already booked in.
So that must have been fantastic to go on your holiday with that as what's immediately preceded it.
Yeah, so having that security was kind of in the back of my mind. We just had to nail down a few little pinpoints.
Yeah, I mean I get that, but I was thinking about the euphoria of following that last game.
Yeah, well that carried right through, and it's still with me now.
Yeah.
Like the holiday gave me a chance to switch off from it.
Yeah.
But like I say, that will carry through for years and years now. That was a hell of a season.
Yeah, it was special. It really was. We've said before in interviews with yourself, but also with 1 or 2 other players, that you're pretty much a larger-than-life character, generally.
Yeah.
Does that get you into trouble a bit sometimes?
Gaffer's just walked out when you said that.
On another collar.
He's gone. Listen, I travel a long old way, and I have done for years. I've never really played local. Why not enjoy it? I have to go there and try and get involved in the dressing room, the pitch, everything. So I like to include myself. I like to give something to the change room, and I like to impose myself as being a good character. Whilst at the same time, I have high expectations when I play, and from those around me. But I think ultimately, if you're going to go in there and you can put that message across where people respect it and they understand you're coming from a good place, then you'll enjoy your football. Your teammates will respect you. And I said we had a cracking Christmas do, those sort of things. All those things make for a season. It's the first thing that when we go back we'll be saying, when's the team night out? Let everybody, let's see what we've got in the dressing room. Let's see who's got a bit about them, and it's the best parts of the year for me. Sure.
How's the business going?
Yeah, good. So I'm going to take it full time. Just going to give it about another 6 weeks. Let the season start properly. And then I'm going to commit to Woking and the cars. So I'll jack the job in, and and go from there. Just to kind of take a leap of faith.
Right. You won't remain sort of in the background. You'll actually leave it, will you? Or?
Oh yeah, I'm just going to leave it.
Right.
Yeah, it's a job that I've done in and out of football. So if I've gone full time, then I've jacked it in. If I've come back out full time, I'll go back into it. It's a trade I've enjoyed because you can switch off from football. It's completely different. A lot of lads like to dip into coaching and stuff like that, but this was literally stick your work clothes on, get your big boots on, and you go and earn a living that way. And you're up at 5:30 every day, and sometimes you're getting in at late. So I prefer that. Keeps you distracted from football if it hasn't quite gone your way on a weekend.
Yeah. Two last questions. One, you played in a cup final this last couple of months, but then you went to another one, didn't you?
I did go.
Which went your way as well.
Yeah. So
how come you're an Aston Villa supporter?
In all fairness, my family aren't really football orientated. There's no kind of background there in football. So when I grew up, my best mate and his family are massive Villa fans, so I kind of just followed on, and it's just stuck ever since. If we went to football games, he was the one that took me, and I kind of just found a love for Villa Park.
Right.
So I followed them ever since. Went to last year's final where we lost to Fulham. Booked it again this year. And this year it went on a little bit longer, so it was cracking.
Well, good for you, not picking Man United or Liverpool or Chelsea just because it's for the sake of it.
Boys, I don't have much to cheer about, so I cherish that.
Good. Last question. I've asked everyone this so far. Dow says he's signing people with a point to prove. Have you got a point to prove, and if so, what is it?
Absolutely. So a lot of people question whether I can make the jump up. They have before. When I was at Torquay, they always kind of look at they have that stigma now of if you're not fast as a defender, if you're not ripped, if you're not good in a gym, if you can't play out the back, then you won't play in the National League. When I think if you look at 90% of the centre halves in that division, they're big, strong, powerful.
Yeah.
If you're quick, that's an added bonus. You'll probably make the step up to the Football League. But at the end of the day, if you believe in what you can do and you're strong mentally, then you've got to back what you can do, and I back what I can bring to the table in terms of, I think I've heard this quote before, but I'll do my job to the best that I can and let the good players do theirs. So if I can stop the ball going in the net and pass the ball simply to my fullback, to a midfielder, my job done.
Sure.
I'm not looking to make any single accolades, or I just want to do the best I can, put my body on line, get hit in the face now and then, a few cut eyebrows, and that's why I enjoy football.
Fair enough. And I said finally, but really finally, we signed Manny Parry yesterday. Mm-hmm. Another big centre back. Do you know him at all? Know anything about him?
I don't know him personally. He's a name that's cropped about that I've seen just moving around just through Twitter and stuff like that. Who he's signed for? So he's obviously well respected at this level. His size is obviously something that we'll need in this league. So. It's something that we'll look forward to getting to know each other, seeing how each other works. If Musa come back, then that's great. But we've got competition for laces, and it's literally we're going to push each other. And it's somebody that, like I say, in training we'll need to grab each other for 5-10 minutes after training, and really look to get the best out of each other.
Brilliant. Well, you'll get that opportunity very soon because training starts on Saturday, as you know very well.
Yeah.
So great to see you signing on again. Thank you very much for your time here in the Travel Lodge. We'll plug them yet again, and it's great to see you again.
Brilliant. Cheers, Dave.